Hi, everyone. Welcome to the Emerald Isle. So great to be talking to you all from across the Atlantic Ocean. Thank you to all the girls of Girls Night In online for having me back to participate on this fantastic platform. It's so special to make such a unique connection during these trying times. Tiny little bit of background before I do my lesson. I have a seafood restaurant which is now closed. We're in lockdown in Ireland. It's been extended and it's going to be extended again. So we'll probably be well into May before things go back to normal. And I'm home baking bread from my grandmother's cottage and selling and delivering to previous customers from my restaurant. So today we are making a Thai red coconut curry, and I am featuring it with seafood. Whether baking or cooking, my craft is intrinsically tied to my experiences growing up. I watched my mother bake every day, and my father, a fisherman, bring home an array of seafood that was fit for kings. It was a normal sight for there to be huge pots of prawns or scallops on our kitchen stove, and we have lobster every day in the summer, still caught by my dad, who is now in his 80s. He's probably watching and he'll be mad at me for telling his age. Sorry, Dad. He has passed this knowledge on to me, and there is nothing I enjoy more during the summer months than to head out the harbor's mouth to spend the morning fishing with him. I have a deep respect and connection to the food that I cook and how it gets from land or sea to table. Baking brings me back to the memories of my mother and grandmother in their kitchens. This week, our class on seafood binds me to my maritime heritage. My connection to the sea runs deep through my dad, his brothers, and father before him. I am keenly aware of the beauty of the ocean and the dangers our fishermen and women face so that we can enjoy its amazing bounty. My father and his 4 brothers started fishing here in Castletown Bear in the 1950s. There are so many wonderful stories, and I hope maybe for my first cookbook. Their sons continued the tradition, and today my own connection is through my craft. And in this class, which features monkfish, caught by the local fishing boats you see in the slideshow, and landed just a stone's throw away. I am so thrilled to share this connection with you from 3,000 miles away across the very wild Atlantic Ocean, where my fish was caught for today's Zoom class on Girls Night In Online. I'm going to switch to my cell phone and head into the kitchen, and we are going to start cooking. So today we are making a Thai seafood curry. I forgot the And I've also added in some, well, an accompaniment, which goes beautifully with the curry. And it's in the notes that I sent you, and it's called, well, it's a cucumber relish. So I started this, and in it, it has pickling juice, which is made from sugar, rice vinegar or white wine vinegar, or apple cider vinegar, and water, all equal amounts. Then the one thing that I didn't put in the recipe was mint. So there's a combination of fresh coriander and fresh mint. And there is shallots. And this is one of my favorite little hand appliances. It's a mandolin. You can get them at Bed Bath & Beyond, but follow the directions. Don't do what I'm doing, which is not using the little protection, but you just slide along the blade and you get a beautifully thin sliced shallot or next cucumber. With the cucumber, I cut it in half, and with a teaspoon, I take out the seeds. I don't really like them in a salad or in anything. So I take those out, and I don't take off all of the skin. I just take off a little bit, just for the contrast. So this little guy is going a little, I use it a lot, it's going a little dull. And again, I use the mandolin on the thickest option and slice it in. This particular relish is really delicious and very, very popular. So you can not only have it with as an accompaniment to a curry, and it kind of cuts through the creamy spiciness of the curry. You can also have it with any kind of fish that you cook. Teriyaki salmon, anything at all. So then just mix it up and refrigerate it. Refrigerate it for a couple of hours. It's better served on the same day because it goes a little wilted by the following day. And on the chili pepper, I'm just going to put a little bit in because I love the little flecks of the red color in it. But you don't have to put it in. It just looks really pretty. When you cut this, be very careful because the heat will actually stay on your fingers. Okay, so there we have our ajat. It's a Thai cucumber relish or pickled cucumber. Okay, so I'm going to leave that there. For the curry, oh, I'm also actually, I'm going to start the curry. I already started the sauteing the onions, leeks, and shallots. And the reason I started that already is because I feel like you can't saute these for too long. The more you saute them, the more the really sweet flavor comes out in them. So I say 10 minutes in the recipe, but you could go 15 minutes. You can't really go too long. So I'm putting that on. The cherry tomatoes, which I use as a garnish on the curry. I'm just putting some salt and pepper. They taste really good, but they also look gorgeous on top of the curry. So I roast them off separately. A little bit of olive oil, salt, and pepper, and pop them in the oven at 100. Oh, I'm on Irish temperature. So they're going in. They can go in under 400 degrees, and just until they're a little soft. If they're a little charred, that's okay too, because it'll look really good. Okay. So in here we have the onions, and you can't have too many onions if you like them. Onions, leek, and shallots, and they're all sauteed at the same time. Then I add some garlic, and I personally use a lot of garlic. I love garlic. And some ginger, and here's my other favorite little handheld. Another trick for peeling ginger, if you don't want to waste any of the skin, which you would when you have a knife, use a teaspoon and just scrape away the skin. Okay, and then
So this guy, I use it for ginger, garlic, Parmesan cheese, and hold it over your pot and rub it along the grated side and just bang it off of the pot so that it falls in. You can also, actually something else that I do when I'm at home, because I use a lot of garlic and ginger in everything. So oftentimes what I do is I'll buy a bunch of garlic and peel it and put it through a blender, put it into a plastic container, cover it with olive oil, and then I have a large amount to just get into the fridge and take it instead of every time I need garlic, peeling it and crushing it. And you can do the same with ginger. You can buy a large amount, peel it, put it in a little mini food processor, and put it into a jar. Glass is better, and cover it with olive oil, and it'll stay in the fridge for a week. Okay, so when you drop in the garlic and the ginger, just wait for the smell. You don't have to overcook that. You just want to get that smell. Okay, so then we put in the paste, and it's a Thai red curry paste. I put between 2 and 3 tablespoons, and same thing, just put that in, stir it around so you're toasting it, and that's going to bring out the flavors. Okay. And I only could get 1 can of coconut milk in the store today. Everything is selling out and not getting replenished very quickly. So I always use a whole coconut milk. I don't use the light. You get a creamier sauce. So when you open the can, I'm just going to work with the 1 can today. You can use 2 because the sauce is so delicious. You can, when the sauce is made, and this is what I used to do actually in the restaurant. I would make an entire pot, and what's great about it is, even for home, if you make a large amount, you can make the base and make it completely free of anything, free of chicken, free of fish, free of any type of stock. And then it's good for vegetarians, for vegans, and it's gluten-free. So you can make a large amount, and if you're home, you could pour it into a few containers, if you know, depending on how many people you have in your household, and freeze it and take it out when you need it. So when you open the can, just be careful. I've put your spoon in through the creamy part and pour out the liquid. I've had this spray up on my face, so get all of that good stuff out. Okay. While that is coming to a boil, I am going to give you my trick that I learned for basmati rice. It really elevates your rice to another taste level. So on the bottom of the pot, I have diced onion, and I'm going to put a little salt in, maybe a teaspoon, depending on how much rice you're putting in, and saute the onion until it's soft. Okay, I'll put that in. Okay, so I'm going to put the lid on there and saute it. Then I'm going to bring my curry sauce to a boil. Okay, now today I'm using monkfish, but with this recipe, you can use any type of fish that you like. Personally, I love monk. I love the texture. It's also very popular here, and it's also caught locally. That may not be the case depending on where you are in the United States. But if you can find it, try it. I know it's not very popular over there, but you really, it's worth finding it. Now I don't know if you caught the glimpse of the monkfish on the slideshow. It's a pretty ugly fish, but it's delicious. So when you get it from your fishmonger, you don't eat the head, it's just the tail of the monkfish that's eaten, even though you can actually eat the cheeks as well, which are really delicious. So it'll come completely cleaned from your fishmonger. There's a bone here, and there's two sides to this tail, so it's completely boned. There's a little bit of a film here, which you could take off, but it's okay, it's fine. And then I like to cut it a little bit on the diagonal. It looks really good in your presentation. So I slice it pretty thin. It's about, I guess, 1/2 inch. And would probably do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, probably 6 or 7 slices per person. Completely up to you. Okay, it really is a beautiful fish to work with. Once, of course, it's been cleaned for you and boned. Okay, that's that. So just imagine I have 2 cans in there. That's looking pretty sparse. And I'm actually going to change over because it'll be easier for you to see to my saute pan. Okay. So the curry sauce has come to a boil, and I am going to add, well, when I was in the restaurant, I didn't really let this simmer for too long because I would make it to order. And in a Thai restaurant, you can sometimes get a curry with a lot of sauce, which is totally delicious. Or just for a change, you could take some of the curry sauce, put it in a saute pan, and saute it until it reduces to a really creamy consistency. And it's fabulous. So I normally never add stock. You can, if the coconut is a little too much for you, you could add a little bit of fish stock or vegetable stock. Now, the curry, and we can probably discuss this in the questions and answers, at this point, this is your base. Now the sorry, no it's not. 2 teaspoons of sugar, brown sugar, or actually coconut sugar would be healthier. And about a tablespoon of fish sauce. It absolutely stinks, but it really adds great flavor to the sauce. So, and the smell goes away once it's stirred in. And also the juice of about 1/2 a lime. Now, when this is finished, you have to taste it and adjust the seasoning. So don't go by the recipe. When you're finished, get a teaspoon and taste it and adjust the seasoning. It could need a little bit more lime juice, it could need a little bit more salt. And the final ingredient that brings it all together is fresh coriander. And that actually is one of my favorite fresh herbs. I put a lot in, and I do it, I chop it up, but I also leave a lot of leaves, which, by the way, also goes in our cucumber relish. This is so worth making. It really is delicious. So I do a lot of coriander, and then I also finish it off with leaves. Okay, so here we go. That's, the sauce is done. I'm actually just gonna have a little taste. And at this point, okay, I'm gonna add a little bit more salt, and I'm gonna add my fish to cook it. I'm not gonna put it all in because I wanna get this done so you can see the final product. So just put it in like this. And my favorite with the monkfish curry is very simply peas and roasted tomatoes. I always roast the tomatoes because it gives you an extra layer of flavor. So just put the fish in, and this would go for anything, any type of fish. Turn it up and let it simmer. It's only going to take about 5 minutes to cook that fish. Okay, so the onions, I kind of charred those a little bit, it doesn't matter. Then you take your rice. I actually don't have a measurement for rice. You wash your rice. I'll show you what I do. You add it to your pot and give it a little stir so that you are toasting the rice just a little bit. Then, oh my gosh, I'm just realizing the rice is not going to be ready. So I don't measure, I just add some filtered water, and I go to about a thumbnail over the rice with the water, no matter what kind of a pot I use. Even if the pot is this large, it's exactly the same method. Okay, so bring it to a boil. And then it simmers until it's done. The water will be gone, and when it's finished, you fluff it up with a fork. But that's the ratio, and it always works. Less water is better than too much water. But if you have a ratio, just work with it. Whatever rice you buy, you can follow the directions. The turning it up a notch with the flavor is the onions getting sauteed in some olive oil until they're soft. And I got that tip from a Brazilian couple when I was working in the Hamptons, and I do it all the time. Okay, so I've timed the rice really badly. I should have done that first because my curry is done. Zoe, can you bring in the place setting that I have on the table? So I have a bunch of things that I want to say, but I have a feeling they're going to come up in the questions and answers section. So I'm going to hold off till then. And I'm going to show you how I serve the curry And then after the questions and answers, I'm going to come back to this rice and show you what it's like. So you see how quickly this fish got cooked, and that's because I cut it pretty thin. And I have to say, it's very unusual for me to cook something and not serve it to somebody, so wish you were here. Oh my God. Okay, so let me take the, plus I can say it's fabulous even if it's not, but it is. Okay, so the rice is boiling, turn it down. And just let it simmer away. No need to stir, just forget about it until the water has been completely absorbed. So with the curry, you put a little bit of, well, this is how I served it in the restaurant. A little ramekin of this, and then I put my rice in here, and I serve the rice with some lime. And it looks really pretty if you cut it like that. And you'll see after the question and answers, I just sit the lime on top of the rice. And I serve the rice separately. So I put the curry in here. Okay. And you know, when you're at home, you serve as much or as little sauce as you want. Now with the 1 can of coconut milk, for me, this is the perfect amount of thickness. It's really good when it's very creamy. So I put the fish in the middle, the sauce around, and then I serve these guys on the side, the rice. Okay, so 5 tomatoes. They are so delicious with this combination. And then some fresh whole coriander leaves on top. Oops. Also, if you want to go hotter, which my daughter usually does, you could add this into the sauce, or you could serve it separately. Sriracha, that brings up the heat if you're into like a very spicy curry. And you can also serve it on the side. So, okay, we'll leave that. So here you go. So this is what the finished product looks like. I do the seafood on its own, and be a little bit dark there. Let's go here. And you can add, again, I think this is going to come up in question and answers, but I love the peas and I love the cherry tomato combination with the monkfish. But you could pre-roast some sweet potatoes, peel them, cut them up, put them in. Fabulous with the curry. You could have some bok choy, some sugar snap peas, asparagus, just steam them and add them in at the end. Anything you think of. So I'm gonna go to and squeeze the lime I put with the rice, but you can squeeze it on before you eat, and then just taste the cucumber relish after. Okay, so I'm going to go to questions and answers. You're going to be, Shelley's going to go through the list as they've come in, and you'll be unmuted to ask your question. I'm actually just going to show you this, just in case we don't get back to it. Okay, can you see that the water is almost evaporated? And you can see the little pieces of onions, which add all of this flavor. And then what I do is I take a fork when it's finished, and scrape it so that as I'm taking the rice out of this pot, I'm fluffing it up. So that's just in case we don't get back to it. I'm going to leave it there. Okay, I'm going to move in to the dining room table just so I can answer any questions. Okay. Oh, so before I do the question and answers, I just want to say, I want to introduce you guys to my film crew and my makeup crew. So Zoe, my daughters, twins, Zoe, hi, and my film crew, Athena. Okay, she's not going on there yet. I also just want to say a quick thank you to John Roberts. He's a local fisherman, and all of those photos were local boats, and actually boats of my family that were out fishing. So thank you to John Roberts for those photos, and the slideshow. Thank you to my sister and business partner, Eileen. So, okay, questions and answers.
Okay, so we're going to go in order, and so far it's Pauline, Pam, Jan, Andrea, Alice, and Ann. So starting with Pauline, you're going to go first. I'll unmute you now.
Hi, Máiréad. Great show. It was really good and informative. Just, you were saying there about your base, that you can freeze it. So do you add the chopped coriander to your base, or do you can just finish it before you add the coriander?
Definitely freeze it without the coriander. If you don't, that's okay. But I always like to add fresh herbs right at the end. So okay, take it out of the freezer, defrost it, and then add your fish, chicken, whatever you're going to add, vegetables, chickpeas if it's vegetarian, and then your fresh herbs.
That's great. Thanks very much for that.
Thank you.
Okay, after your question, feel free to mute yourself again. Okay, Pam, you're next.
Hi, Máiréad. I actually had 2 questions. I wanted to know if you thought that adding mint to the cucumber salad, as well as possibly the curry sauce, would be too much, or might be a nice addition.
Adding mint to the curry sauce?
Yeah, or the cucumber relish.
Oh yeah. You absolutely add mint to the cucumber relish. I had put it in.
I'm sorry, I missed that.
Did I forget to mention that? And you take the leaves, put them together, and slice them with the scissors. So that relish should have a combination of mint and coriander. And yeah, it's fabulous. I don't put it in the curry sauce. I just put coriander. But if you did, I'd love to hear what you thought. You know, fabulous.
Thank you. The other question was, do you like the red curry sauce over like yellow, green, or massaman curry for any particular reason?
I do. Just personal taste. That's it. The red Thai is my favorite. Now you can make all of those curry pastes yourself. I did many years ago. And no matter what kind of curry paste I use, I will always, even if it has garlic and ginger, which it does, I always add more. They're my 2 favorite, fresh garlic and fresh ginger. So experiment. You know, it's your kitchen. Do whatever you feel like doing. You may prefer green curry. So let me know.
Okay, thanks so much.
Thank you.
Okay, Jan, you're next.
Hi, my question is, if I can't find monkfish, I'm in a little tiny town. Yeah, not a lot of great seafood options out here. What would you recommend if I couldn't find monkfish?
Would you like to try it with fish? So you want to know what kind of fish? You could easily get cod over there, I would say.
Yeah.
You could probably find some frozen lobster or frozen shrimp.
Okay.
And anything goes really with that sauce. You're just going to have to be careful if, say, for example, you use a flaky fish. I don't know if you guys have hake over there. But what you can do, depending on the fish that you get, like lobster would be solid enough,
to cook it in the sauce. So would the shrimp. So would the cod. If you had something flaky, I would bake off the fish and then put the sauce over it on your.
Okay,
On your
so
gravy.
you want a firm fish. You want a really firm fish.
Yeah, yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
And did I hear you mention chicken too?
This particular base can work with chicken. I haven't tried it with any meat, but I used to do it with chickpeas and sugar snap peas, and just top it with chopped spinach for vegetarians. So it's really versatile.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, Andrea.
Hi, Máiréad. You kind of answered it, but I was just asking about shellfish, if like scallops and shrimp and lobster would also work.
Yeah, absolutely. Because we actually get fresh scallops here from the bay, they're day boat. So, we're in a very unique position here with our scallops. They fish for them and they bring them back in and we get them. They're called day boat scallops. A lot of scallops that you find, if it's not from a fishmonger and you're not on the coast, are possibly from boats that go out for a week. They spray the scallops to preserve them. So I would use those kind of scallops for this particular curry, but if I had really fresh day boat scallops, this particular sauce would be too overwhelming. I would wanna have the scallop on its own to appreciate the flavor, and they're expensive. So they really speak for themselves.
Okay, Alice. Go ahead, you can ask your question.
Hi there, thanks for this. I really
Hi,
enjoyed
Alice.
it.
Thank you.
I don't remember what my question was. Oh, I do. My question was just about the relish. I assume you just eat that on the side
Yeah.
as a
Yeah.
lightener
Yeah.
almost for the curry flavor.
You do eat it on the side. You could put it on the curry, but I wouldn't. It's more like when you're eating the curry and say it's a little bit hot, if you then have a little forkful of the cucumber, of the relish, it cools down the feeling in your mouth, and the contrast is really great. And it goes with, you can have it with any kind of fish, poached or sauteed or whatever type of fish you make. It's a great accompaniment for any kind of fish, not just curry.
Yeah, it looks delicious. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thanks, Alice. Okay, Anne. Oops, I think I muted the wrong person. Here you are. Okay, Anne, you can ask your question.
Well, this was a fabulous class, and having had the experience before, you can actually drink that cucumber relish.
Oh, thank you.
And having had your breads, but what bread would you suggest the best for soaking up that wonderful sauce?
Oh, yeah. I would suggest a naan bread or a flat bread. Any kind of, it sounds like a little bit too much of a contrast, but an Indian type flat bread.
Okay.
Not really a pita bread, something more spongy.
It won't fall apart.
Personally, that's what a flatbread, like a coriander or a garlic flatbread.
Great, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, we have 2 left. So I'm trying to get to you. Margaret, go ahead.
Hi, Margaret.
Oh, hi, Máiréad. I think my question was already answered, that you said it could be made with a green curry.
Okay. By the way, my name is Gaelic for Margaret, if you didn't know.
Oh, is it? There you go.
Yeah.
Why we're simpatico. Great. That's great. So thank you. You already answered when someone else answered. It looked fabulous. You're making me hungry.
Thank you.
Thank
Oh,
you.
I think if we were in Ireland, we'd all be at your house today, Máiréad.
That's right.
That would be great.
It looks amazing. I think everyone's hungry. Okay, so we have, it looks like one final question, Diane. So let's see, I'm trying to find you on the list. Okay, Diane, you're unmuted. You can ask a question.
Hi, Diane.
Hi, thank you for the class. It was really wonderful. I have not used curry paste, and I'm wondering if you can show us the container.
Yeah.
Not sure if that's what it would look like in California, but also, I did not do this ahead of time. I read the recipe yesterday, and I'm not sure where to access it now. So I'd like to be able to access that recipe to make this.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I think Shelley would be able to answer that. It's in the email. It should be in the email that you received when you registered.
Okay.
I think it says click here for recipe.
So also,
we're-
just, Marie, we dropped it in the chat, and I'm also going to put a link here for you again.
Okay.
You can go online and download the recipe. However, do you see it now?
I'm going to show you the curry paste, but it's going to look completely different, the container that I get in Ireland. You can get the curry paste. It usually comes in a very small jar in Whole Foods, in the Asian section. And I've seen it in a lot of just regular grocery stores in the States. And it's called Thai red curry paste. So in any Asian section in the supermarket. I don't know what supermarkets you have in California, but you must have a Whole Foods, do you?
Yes.
Yeah, you'll definitely get it there. Would you still like to see what it looks like?
Sure.
Okay, and Shelley, do I have time to show the rice?
Yes, you've got, I'd say, a good 5 minutes left. We have to.
So I actually get the curry paste, a huge amount of it. So, but it on the inside of your little jar. Will you show me the jam jar, the small one? So Zoe. Yeah. In the store, it'll come in a jar about that size. And it comes in green. There's a green curry paste as well. And this is what it looks like. Now, I used 1 can of coconut. I normally would use 2. And for 2 cans, I would use a good 2 tablespoons of the paste. But you could experiment with that yourself. I think the coconut milk absorbs a lot of the heat, so it's not an overly spicy paste. Okay, here's the rice. So the liquid is completely gone, and so we can have the round ramekin. Oh, thank you. So I use a spoon or a fork and flake it up. And when you do that, you also nearly almost double what you have. And then I just put a couple of spoonfuls on the side. I like to serve the rice on the side so that people can, you know, enjoy as much or as little of the curry sauce with the rice as they want. So there you go.
So thank you, everybody, for coming.
So much, everybody.